We all think we know everything about the Death Star at this point, right? Wrong. According to FX supervisor Todd Vaziri, we were all wrong about it for decades. So he wrote about this on his blog, FX Rant, and he talks about working on Rogue One, and in particular talking to computer graphics supervisor Vic Schutz and visual effects supervisor John Knoll. And they were chatting about the Death Star, and something came up that pointed out something that we all believe was wrong. That preconceived notion is that when we are looking at the Death Star, there are only two major points of interest on it, I guess, from a larger perspective, and that is the dish in the northern hemisphere and the equatorial trench that goes around. We all assume that that is where Luke and Biggs and Wedge and good old Porkins fly into with their X-Wings to find that exhaust port, but that is not where they fly in. According to these experts on Rogue One, the trench run in Star Wars is a longitudinal line on the Death Star, meaning it is running north to south, or maybe they're flying south to north, but they are not flying east-west or west-east at all. So this took him by surprise. This took many people at ILM by surprise, and it took me by surprise because I had also wrongly assumed this. If you look at the equatorial line on the Death Star, it's huge. And that is because it is where there are several hangar bays stacked upon each other, and they can fly out, and there's plenty of room for them. But when you look at the scene with the X-Wings, it's very narrow. I mean, it can barely fit maybe three, and it's if you look closely, there's no way that they can be the same thing. And we would assume that they are the same because we have a few establishing shots of we have TIE fighters coming out of a certain area, and it has somewhat of a similarity to images we have of X-Wings peeling into a trench, but they're actually two different trenches. And if you look at what was happening at General Dodonna's meeting, it's clear because we show the picture of the Death Star, and we have a vertical line showing where they will be traveling. You may also notice that in this, the dish is in the middle, segmented by the equator line on the Death Star. And that is because when they were working on the visual effects for the computer design and for the visual effects of how the final Death Star would look, there were some changes made, but it was too late to change the computer graphics from the 70s at the time, and that's why it looks like that. According to Vaziri, at the time on Rogue One, when they were working, they were joking about when Jin went to go find the Stardust file, that room contained many different designs for the Death Star and how it would eventually look, and maybe the one that R2 got was one of those early designs, and that's why it's like that. And you know, they put the exhaust port there on purpose as an act of rebellion. All of the loose ends come together. So there's something I didn't know, at least. Did you feel tricked by that as well? Please let me know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.